So how did you, so there's probably like 30 or 40 companies that like do this thing, right? Like how did you figure out like, here are the couple we want to look at and start actually looking at them?
Yeah, so I think, a simple Google search is like a nice place to start. Companies that are somewhat established are going to show up on your, first couple pages of the search. And as you start like clicking in, you just take the time. It's like, I think we all have been around the internet long enough to understand, like, you understand when a site looks like
trustworthy,
worthwhile, kind of what sources to go to trust. Yeah, exactly. And so that's one way, because you can tell, like, you look at the website. Is it well designed? Can I get around this website? If I can't get around your website, then I'm probably not going to like your software. So it's like every little like aesthetic actually matters, and it's easy to discern, I think, at this point, like what companies are really like established to a point that's going to meet you where you need them to meet you. So that's one way. And then obviously we have like our own networks, so we can say like, hey, Rapid7, what do you guys use? And so it's like kind of crowdsourcing with your networks around, and you start to compile like that 30 list down to 5. And I think 5 is the right place to start from. I think it feels like, oh, okay, they've looked at the top 5 or 5 known platforms that you can get like references from, people that are using it, and 5 is good. I think any more than 5 and you're really like, it's like, depending how much time you have to like do that research phase, like that's a lot.
Right.
And so those are 2 of the main things I think that we used. But you have to be careful with like, so with your friends, your network, and HR, and people who have implemented, you're like, oh, well, they did it, so I'm just going to do the same thing that they did. But it might not be the right system at all for your company.
Why do you say that?
So, like, Rapid7 is a good example of like a company. They had chosen a completely different system that we were looking at and weighing, but it's very different than Reflective. And it's more like kind of mirroring a sprint and agile process for that engineers use right now. And so 15.5 versus Reflective, we wanted goals and we wanted performance, and that's what Reflective focuses on, not this like, hey, every week tell me what you're working on. Did you finish it? Did you do it? Okay, on to the next like week. What are you working on next week? And then that cycle repeats. Like, did you do those things or whatever? It's like it mirrors exactly what we already, as a software company, we're already doing that. It's already embedded in how we work. So no way would I be like, oh, and repeat that now with 15.5 on a weekly basis. They would revolt if we had implemented that. But Katie, our chief people officer, was like, well, Rapid7 uses it. I think we should like, there was all this like, I don't know, we really got to get 15.5 back in here and like check it out. And you're just like, but Katie, I think we need to understand like what is actually going to be the system that we need at Bright Cove. And so that's, it can be like,
it's really hard to like
hard
all the
balance.
systems that I